Hello, so today we are going to be talking about the research that we conducted, which we entitled Computer Animations Stimulate Contagious Yawning in Chimpanzees. So we began with the hypothesis. If the chimpanzees identified with the animations, then they would yawn more in response to the yawn animations than the control animations. This hypothesis, if proven true, hints that chimpanzees are capable of empathy. So we're able to put that into a behavioral context, which will allow us to further understand and better understand how they process information and their emotions, which is very important because chimpanzees are known to be a species of animal that are closely linked to human beings. So on a smaller scale, the information and the results that we're going to be able to collect from this experiment will give us more information about chimpanzees as an independent type of animal and species, but the bigger application of this would lead us to better understand human beings because of our similarities with chimpanzees. By better understanding them, we could probably be able to end up understanding ourselves better. So to break down our hypothesis and the certain factors and aspects that we use in our methodology and testing, let's first talk about yawning. Why did we decide to use the action of yawning? Why do we aim to have these chimpanzees imitate that action? So yawning is known as a contagious and usually unconscious action, much like emotional reactions and responses that we as human beings give off. And yawning is also known to be linked to empathetic behavior, as stated directly in the research paper. Because yawning is involuntary, contagion will indicate subconscious identification with the animations rather than deliberate imitation. So the next part and factor, so the next aspect we would like to delve into is the use of computer animation. So why exactly do we choose to use computer animations as opposed to using real chimpanzees for our test subjects to imitate or to be subjected to? So computer animations represent a new and flexible tool in the study of animal behavior. Because of the control we have over the variables, it allows us, the researchers, to exclude certain variables to allow us to have a more controlled experiment. So if our hypothesis were to be proven true, it would allow us to be more certain of the abilities and capabilities of these animations in further research and for better development of studies about these animals. So if chimpanzees were to similarly display an empathy towards animations and towards creatures and things that were fake and not totally real and alive, it would be able to link them better to us as human beings because we'd have that same capacity of empathy, thereby proving that we have similar ways of thinking and processing information.
So our procedure for the experiment involved dividing the chimpanzees into two groups for viewing two different kinds of animations. In total, each of these groups had 9 animations each, 3 different chimpanzee heads filmed from 3 different angles. Each clip was presented 10 times, and the full set of clips was shown before repeating them in a pseudo-random order. In total, these clips were shown for 15 minutes. Not only did we measure the number of yawns, but we also measured how much attention the chimpanzees paid to the screen. We did this by noting how far they are from the screen itself. Okay, now it's time for the statistics. In total, we, the researchers, recorded around 189 yawns. If you look at this graph over here, you'll notice that the amount of yawning in the experimental group has a significant difference compared to the amount of yawning in the control group. It is important to note that the amount of yawning recorded here isn't the total amount of yawns recorded on video, but it is, in fact, the mean number of yawns per chimpanzee. Overall, however, the chimpanzees in both groups paid less attention on the second day compared to the first day. Our third graph finally shows the rate of yawning. If you notice, the control group had a constant, although slight, increase over time, while the experimental group paid much more attention in the first 12 minutes and had a slight decrease afterwards.
Yawn animations did stimulate contagious yawning, thus proving the hypothesis chimpanzees are capable of empathy. Due to the significant disparity between the mean amount of yawns from the two groups when compared to other studies, it is seen that yawning spreads slower in chimpanzees compared to humans. This, however, may be due to the different method of experimentation. some factors were ruled out as a cause of disparity between the groups. Attention to screen levels were similar, thus the difference in yawning was not caused by the control group's video being more interesting. Boredom very likely was the cause of the increase in the yawn rate for control group. However, yawns increased over time for experimental yawning video. Both of these mean that the yawn disparity was from the experimental group's response to the yawning video and not boredom. The data for attention and yawning do not line up with each other. So this may mean that these two variables do not influence each other to a great degree.
From this study, we can conclude that chimpanzees view, process, identify with, and empathize with animated chimpanzees similarly to photographs and videos of actual chimpanzees. There is a certain gap, however, that we may have encountered while conducting our study, that being, as was stated in our research paper, that because we tested our subject in pairs, we cannot be certain in all cases whether an individual yawned in response to the animation or to a partner's yawn. However, it is important also to note that all in all, it was a very careful procedure and there was much meticulous attention that was given to every variable that was within our capability.